Everybody, welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft Season 5, Episode 109 with me, Sid. We are still at the base. I just had a light snack. Oh, hello. Hello, no. Before going to bed. And I got a plan for today. It's not the plan that I've been working on all this time. Arc furnaces, because well, arc furnaces require a lot of resource, and eventually, there we go, breakfast over. I should also, because I don't think I've empty, all right, yeah, I don't think I've got milk going at the moment, so let us just see about that. Me a cow, there you go. And not milk, we need to get cheese going, that's the word I'm looking at, because, you know, while we're about the base, that's an important job. We also need to continue growing these while they're about the base, because that's also an important job. But let me tell you about my plan. My plan involves blue steel. We need to make blue steel. Now, normally I would go with red steel because I prefer red over blue, and a red steel bucket can move water source blocks, whereas a blue steel bucket can move lava source blocks, and that the red steel is more useful to me. So that's my usual go-to. But here's the thing. If you make a press, if I can go, no, come here, just give me red steel. If you make a press, I'm going to use a red steel hammerhead, wear them in the molds position. You can take pig iron and immediately just press it to high carbon steel, and you can take high carbon steel and immediately press it to steel. So no more forging, hammering, pummeling, beating, whatever you like. And that sounds pretty good. You can also stick a red steel anvil in there, and you can basically put a red steel hammerhead in and get a red steel hammerhead out. That actually makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know what the recipe's for. So, you know, on the face of it, not bad. But if we look at blue steel hammerhead, well, a blue steel hammerhead can be used to make a blue steel hammer. It can make a diamond hammer from Ex Nihilo, okay, which can be used apparently for nothing. But what it can do also is you can use a blue steel hammer to hammer high carbon red steel to red steel, or high carbon blue steel to blue steel, or high carbon black steel to black steel, or two thorium ingots into a double ingot, or all of the ingots into double ingots, or double ingots into plates, and two plates into double plates. You see where I'm coming from? The blue steel hammerhead, which is only a single ingot anyway, is considerably more useful than the red steel. And once you've got the blue steel, the red steel should in theory be a hell of a lot easier. But the question is, how do I make a blue steel? Well, we're going to need multiple things. We are going to need an amount of black steel, we're going to need some bismuth bronze, we're going to need some sterling silver, and we are going to need some steel ingots. Now, I don't think the arc furnace would allow us to do this pretty easily, but there is no working around this. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use a cruise bloomery. I don't think it's not a bloomery, is it? No. Normally you don't need to do that mucking around in a bloomery, do you? Oh, please tell me I don't need to. We can make molten blue steel by alloying black steel rose gold, brass to make. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can do it in the smeltery, and that can then be used to cast. I really had a horrible feeling there that I was going to be needing some things. Now we're going to need 15 ingots of blue steel, so that's going to take us a wee bit, but we are going to do that. We're going to need to make, let's get this right, molten blue steel, black steel, rose gold, brass and steel. Let's have a look what we got. Got gold, so we can definitely make rose gold, because rose gold is made with copper and gold, I think. Find my other stuff. Brass and steel and black steel. Interesting, different things. It's alright, curious. And that does, let me just double check, that does, oh, it actually makes goes straight to blue steel, no faffing around. That sounds a little bit OP. Uses 144 millibuckets of that. Alright, I need to do some maths. Let me do that, I'll be back in a second. I'm not saying I've been sat working this out for a while, and actually I'm getting more and more confused. There's far too many recipes and ways to do this stuff in this pack. I'm going to try what I think is the easiest way to get black steel in the first instance, because I think we need about 9 ingots of black steel. And we also need about 4 ingots of steel to make the thing. So let's go. I've got pig iron. I'm going to make some more pig iron, because pig iron seems to be the mythical beast in the middle of all of this. Once we've got that press and stuff, all of this in theory becomes a hell of a lot easier. But so we need 32 coal dust, and I need some, not stone blocks, I need a flux bearing rock. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I live in flux bearing rock country. I mean, it shouldn't be too much of an ask here. We'll take a little bit of that as well, because I'm probably going to need it in a moment, because I'm going to go bang. Actually got away with it. Probably not a great, oh no, there's no durability left on that one whatsoever. I tend to use stone hammers, because they're just incredibly cheap for this kind, especially when you're building this kind of stuff. Bye bye. That can go away, and we'll take half of that and put the other half in there. So we're going to use the this beastie to take I'm doing something wrong here, aren't I? I need to make pig iron. Oh, we need to grind that down, of course. Let's do you. And that needs to go in there, and then once we've got that done, then that will go in there to make pig iron. In fact, we probably should turn you off for now. I'll leave it on. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it doesn't matter, because you know we're making this for a reason. So we're aiming to make this kind of black steel. So if you look at black steel, you can you can melt it down in the smeltery, and that alloys with rose gold, molten brass and molten steel to make blue steel. So I think this is the way we're going to try and get this through. Hopefully it'll work. Who knows? It's very confusing. But, well, we'll get this going, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, while that's going, I am going to make, I think I'm just going to do 16 of this actually. Just because I don't want to go mad. I don't want to make way more black steel than we actually need, but I also don't want to be a tightwad with it. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. What we'll do is we'll run these, heat them up and hammer them to steel, and then once we've got 16 ingots of steel, we're going to pop those into the smeltery along with 16 ingots of pig iron, and that should alloy to black steel. And that should be the first step of the way, and it should be almost double what we need. Not quite double, but almost double what we need. So give us plenty of wiggle room. That in itself is just going to take a short while we heat this lot up and basically wail on it here with the hammer. I'm hoping that hammer lasts out, but because we may need to make another one, but not a problem. If we do, we'll sort it. Back in a little while. Alright, first ingot out, and we are going to take it to ingot, whatever, and this should be we'll get because like all of these things, takes a little bit of effort the first time. Once I get so that's a high carbon steel, and then we take you, not there, I'll get the pattern. Once I've got the pattern, this becomes easy. Oh, and that's cooled down. Okay, and obviously I need to do this 16 times. In the meantime, I have got the pig iron already in there, so that is all ready to process next to the steel. Yeah, this is just going to take a while. Fortunately, there isn't actually danger. That won't get any hotter, and there's no danger of that melting into the system. So I'm going to just wail on this, and again, I'll be back in a mo. And I got it. It was, well, I think I'm going to cook it up now, of course. It's basically all the way up to there, and then all the way down, and this one is there, and then 1, 2, 3. Simples when you know how. Of course, that won't be the same in your worlds. Just do remember that. This definitely changes per world, so this shouldn't be too large a job. I've just caught that one up, I think. Yeah, I have. Alright, back in a bit. Alright, we've got that, so we should in theory be able to put all of those in here. That'll give us the same in steel, and that should alloy back down to black steel. Now it's way more than we need, and actually I do also need 4 ingots of steel, so I could take those out very rapidly. We'll have some spare pig iron as well, just for good measure. That's 24 ingots of black steel anyway. I actually don't need to cast that. That's the nice thing here. So what we should be able to do is get those ingots of pig iron out. And that should just leave the 24 ingots of black steel. Now I only need 9, so if we got 24, I should be able to take the bulk of that out. And I don't mind having excess, because there's always tools and things you need. So let's take this down to 9 ingots worth, I think, and then we'll move on to the next bit, which is is sticking this. Well, we'll keep the steel out until we're ready, but we'll move on to the rose gold and the brass. So yeah, I'm just going to bring this down by another 9, and then we should be good. Back in a sec. Alright, it's actually even easier than I thought. We've already got the rose gold that was made. Rose gold, of course, being if I can go on, rose gold being an alloy of copper and gold. Nothing fancy there. The other thing we need, have you not finished? Oh god. We're going to take out this for a moment and let it, what you got left is 45%. The other thing we need is lost myself, 3 copper and zinc to make brass. We need 2 brass. We've got the steel, we've got the black steel. We just need to wait for this to finish and then take that pig iron out, and we should be very, very, very close to having blue steel. And I think we should have enough then to make blue steel anvil, which obviously is the maximum tier anvil. So just waiting on this. Wait. Now I do also need to, while we're waiting on that, I might as well things that I've left a couple of ingots of black steel in the thing, because I can't remember whose comment it was. But there was a comment made that if I put TFC molds into the output here, I should in theory be able to pour higher tier tools that way. I don't know whether that's right or not. I'm going to give it a try because we've got nothing to lose. I also realised that, thank God it did work. Analyze. I realised I set this running and didn't actually think that's 5, 4. It's that one that's going, isn't it? Being replaced by whatever this one is. 5, 4, 7. So that's this one. Yes, of course it is. And we shall place that in there for now and that away. So yeah, we are making steady progress. I also need to milk the cows while I think about it and sort myself out some food. My food situation is a little bit, well, it's not dire. I've got plenty of food. It's oh, you're not ready to milk yet? Okay, fine. We'll come back and do you later, ladies. Yeah, with a bit of luck that should be ready to make those. It doesn't take long to do them. There you go, there's a brass. So then we can set the rest of that pig iron running. I'm just going to go and sort out my food situation and then we'll get back on with the black steel. See you in a minute. Alright, so our salad today is going to be cheese with some onion. Actually, one of my favourite salad veggies. I know some people don't like it, and it tends to. I find that a lot of people who don't like it don't like the texture, and we'll go with a little bit of carrot grated in there for flavour, and there you go. That should be delicious, and more importantly, it should address my dairy need because my dairy is a bit low. Right. Let us move on by and have it. Try and keep my inventory a little bit tidy. I mean, I know that's virtually impossible. It is me we're talking about, but let's not let the side down, and we'll have a drink. And with a bit of luck, are we? No, we're still not there on that. So what we're going to do is I really don't want to do this until I've tried and used these 2 ingots of black steel. I don't want any chance of cocking this up. You know, because it's a very real possibility. But those are what we need to put in there. In fact, we will cock up because obviously I actually only need 1.66 rose gold and 1.66 brass to 8.3 black steel and 3.3 steel, so there is definitely going to be an overspill. There we go, that is ready, and I also made some more bowls while I was at it, so in theory we can do this. Well, and you keep the mold. Totally OP. Now we should still have 10. That will take 1 more. Excellent. That gives us a replacement chisel. Now there is a downside to this. You'll notice this one has a smithing bonus of 25%, which means that it got a 25% durability boost. This one has no smithing bonus, so even though this one's steel and this one's black steel, that one was almost the same durability. That is, I mean, it's a very minor downside, but for tools where you're really not that worried about durability, that's possibly, well, it's not possibly handy, it is in fact very handy. We're going to pop you down a second. Don't you run off anywhere. There we go. So thank you for that little smidgen of information. That was incredibly useful. Right. Rose gold, brass, steel. Let's see if the this all works through. Because we might be into the age of tier 6 metals, blue steel. Now that does mean that we of course we can also make a red steel armor or blue steel armor, whichever we prefer. There you go, we've got molten blue steel. We've also got a tiny amount of these, which, to be honest, well, we'll do the nuggets where we can, but we have got 16 ingots of blue steel. You know what's happening now, don't you? And we don't even have to hammer the stuff. Oh man, that is thing that actually, hang on. One of the things we needed, of course, was a blue steel hammerhead to use with the press. Now we don't have a press right now, but it doesn't stop me making myself a blue steel hammerhead, does it? I'm putting that. Oh, I was going to put it in there. Okay, we'll not put it in there. We'll work out somewhere for that later. But for the time being, there's another 13 ingots of blue steel to make, and then we're going to need to heat that up and weld it into ingots, because at this stage, oh, can we? Ooh, hang on. If I want to make a anvil, and I want a blue steel anvil, I need blue steel double ingots, and to make double ingots we obviously have to weld them, which is, I mean, it's not a problem, it's just a bit of a bind. But we can use blue steel. If we were to make a metal press, we could just weld them straight together using that. That might be where we go next then. Anyway, let me process this up, back in a second. Alright, so metal press, let's have a look what we need for that. We're going to need, unfortunately most of the recipes haven't changed for this. 3 steel scaffolding, 1 piston, 2 conveyor belts and a heavy engineering block. We also potentially need a hopper or some means of putting things onto that conveyor belt, so that, but we can obviously throw things on as well. So let's start off with probably the simple thing, the conveyor belts. Conveyor belts are some iron plate, which we can't make. Or basically we're going to have to make a double ingot, and which of course, have we got a metal press, we could just make, but we can't. We're going to have to do that the hard way. So iron plates, which are double ingots, so I need 2 double ingots. We've got leather. I assume we've got leather. Let me just double check that we've got leather. We've got leather, and we have got redstone, so that is a thing we need to make. We also need 3 steel scaffolding, and steel scaffolding requires some steel ingots and some steel fence. Steel fence is made with steel rods, and you get 2 per, and I need 3 to make 6, so that's not too bad. But we do need steel rods. They are steel to that, or steel in a press to make, but of course we haven't got a press. Yeah, so we're going to need 6 steel plus 3, we're going to need 9. And we're going to need 12, 15 steel. Bloody thing. Okay, 15 steel it is, not a problem. Just keep calm. We've still got plenty of pig iron, and we should have more in the system, so we can certainly turn that into steel. That's not a problem, and we know how easy it is to actually make that. So that will give us the steel things. We also need the heavy. Let's just deal with the two things at once, shall we? Iron plates and steel. Let's get that lot going. So 4 iron, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into there along with that. And then we needed, well, we're definitely going to need at least 5 of those turning into steel. So yeah, we're back on the forge again. Yay! Everybody loves forging. Forging ahead. Let me get those up to temperature, get them hammered, get them made. As I say, we need to make 12 steel rods, so that's going to be 12 ingots there, and then another 3, which will be 15 steel. So basically 3 lots of that, 2 of them. While we're doing it, let's have a look at the heavy block, because we're going to need more steel there. Heavy eng, there you go, that makes it easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, another 12, so 15, 27. I need more pig iron. Okay, is not a problem. I'll get on with that. I'll be back once I've got those done. Alright, we're ready to make the first little bit of this, which is of course 1, 2, 3, the conveyor belts. Those I've got made the plates. The iron I've also got some more iron running to make what's the word I'm looking for? Make things. Hoofers. Hopper. That's the word I'm looking for. 16 conveyor belts. There we go. That is the first item off of that list. So yeah, we need to make a hopper which is going to take double sheets. So those are going. I've got the first batch. Well, I've got some steel ingots which are going to be made into rods. So we need to go. Wow, this is. Jesus, that is not. That is not a fun recipe. That is so sketchily close to the edge. See how close we're having to get up to the top there. If I go beyond it, I think it destroys the... Let's try one more. There you go. Oh, come on. Right, that is not a fun recipe. I will be glad when we got a punch to a press to do that. So that's going to be a sketchy job. This is not so bad. We can obviously get in there and weld those down and turn those into sheets pretty easily. Takes a couple of attempts on this one. I've not quite got this one down pat, but there you go. That's one sheet in the bag. And then obviously we can do the same again. That might not be the most optimal way to hammer that out, but it works, so I'm not going to complain. We can probably get those almost to the point where, let me just let that heat up a little teeny bit, and we'll work on this a bit more. So back to here, and we are going all... Wow. That is not a fun recipe by anybody's definition. We should be able to weld that one together now. and those need to stay in there to keep warm, along with those two, and that will give us everything we need for a hopper. So yeah, I'm going to basically continue on making these. I need to make 12 of those. That's not going to be fun at all. Okay, back in a bit. Alright, we're getting there. I've got 7 of these done already. I've been going at this, actually not too long, probably about 15 minutes or so. I've got this down pat now, so from pig iron we go to here and then back to there. Then we go to, from high carbon steel to steel we go to there, and then from here, this one I've worked out to be there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. So it's actually not too bad. We need to weld those together, and we'll just pop them in there for a second just to keep warm. So they should be yellow, and yet that should be workable, and we should be able to make a hopper, which is okay. This is going to be interesting. No, that's wrong. There. Okay. There. No. Okay. Leave on this one with me. This is going to be a pain. See you in a mo. Alright, last one. Got this down pat now. Amazing what hammering some 20 odd ingots of steel will drive into your muscle memory. Right, so we should be good to make 2 lots of steel fences, and with the 2 lots of steel fences that will make me 6 steel scaffoldings. So that's that bit done, or at least that's that bit partially done. We also have the hopper, and then we need one of these. For that we're going to need to make some of these, so I'm going to need copper. I'm going to need to make some pistons, but I also need a piston for the... Let me just grab a little bit of copper. I'll just get a couple for now, because what we need to do is one, and I presume we can do this while they're still hot too. Yep. Rose gold. Oh, I am the luckiest git alive. And then pistons, which should just be iron, and so I need 3 pistons, so I need 3 of those, and 3 redstone, 12. Let me just double check it is on the old plankage. It is, so, but presumably they need to be relatively straightforward. Let me just, you know what we'll do. It's not like we're short on logs, so we'll blat that lot together, and then those will go and make me a whole bunch of those, of which I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'll put the other 23 in there. And then we're going to need some of that, and that should, I think, be everything. So take 2 of those, 1 of those 2, and those 4 will give me 2 heavy engineering blocks, so I can leave 1 in there. I've got an LV connector, so we'll take some of that. Have I got any wire? I don't think I've got any wire. Damn it. We need 1, 2, 3 of those. We need that and that. We need 2 of those. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I can use those with that. I'm not making 2 hoppers. Yeah, I ain't going there. That's not happening. So what we'll do is we'll use the hoppers to place the items on the conveyor belt, and we'll just pick them off manually as they grab them as they come off. To be honest, for the time being, once I can make these easier, then you know, it'll be a different matter. But right now, I'm just going to use you as a means of putting stuff on. We need that. So let's go and get this set up first, shall we? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have our... Now, if I remember my setup of this correctly, it goes 1, 2... Oh, damn you. Damn you. To heck and back. We'll fix that afterwards. 2, 3, like that. Then you have your conveyor belts. Take you off of there. We'll have a conveyor belt here and a conveyor belt there. Let me just double check. I think that's correct. Yep. And then we're going to have this here with this placed there. This is where these get fun. Damn you. Oh. Right, let's try that again. Oh, it's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Right. Yes, it does still work as a... I do remember that was also worked as a hooferator, but not that hammer. That hammer, and we should be able to press you down. That's all good. And then what we'll do is we shall operate onto here, I think, like so. That will go on there. That's our mold, and obviously the things will just drop off here. We'll put a couple of slabs underneath, fix that. I just need to get a wire set up into here. I'm hoping I should be able to do multiples in this version. 1.7 is an odd one for immersive, but first things first, let us well, let me eat something. I'm a little bit peckish while I go and grab that carpenter's block. Whee! And place it back in and camouflage it. Right, you'd never know it was there. Let me just finish sorting that off, and I also need to go and get some copper wire made, so I will get that done as well. Oops, hello. In fact, let me just double check what's involved with copper wire. Thank you. LV wire, isn't it? LV wire uses 2 copper sheets. Oh God, here we go again. A treated stick to make 4. Right, I'm back to the forge. I don't think there is any quick way of making those right now. Eventually, presumably, we'll be able to make things with a plate recipe. We'll be able to make plates, but right now I'm back to the forge to make some plates, so I don't think I've got any more wire. Oh, actually, let's not jump the gun here. Let's take rather than faffing around with the forge to make more wire. Oh, I haven't got the plate recipe though, have I? No, I'll do it. I'll go to the forge. Much as I've spent an age on the forge so far, we will go to the forge. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, all things being equal, I think we've got everything we need now. So let's Let's find out, shall we? So we're going to stick that under there just to complete that off. We're going to go with that and that and that and that will make me those. Oh, hello. Pick up those. Thank you. And we're going to jump up there with that. And then you are going to go from there to there. That should be working. So if I take 14 of those and place going to be like that, are we? Okay, doesn't matter. Let's see if we can't do this another way. At least we don't get electric shocks from this thing. So why? Two of those on a metal press with a blue steel hammerhead makes that. Okay, that's annoying. Definitely got a blue steel hammerhead. Let's try. Sometimes these can be a little bit funny if you don't put a hoofer, what's-a-majig, a conveyor belt on at the end. They don't like you plugging straight into them. So let's see. I may move this. Well, I probably will move all of this around. This massive great engine shed that I thought was going to be big enough may not be. Although there has been a suggestion to build this setup up on the roof of the forge, and that so this lot might move yet. However, in the meantime, up, 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 1, 2. Yes, yes, yes. Watch that. Oh, 1, 2. Look at those beautiful double ingots just coming off the end. Now, here's a stupid question. I don't know whether I'll get away with this right now. That's not going to work. That is most definitely not going to work. What I probably need to do therefore is that. It seems to work. Hoppers in TFC really not playing nicely. Okay, doesn't matter. 1, 2. This is still infinitely easier than oh, that's not going to work, is it? No, give me that one. That's a pain. Hang on. We've got 7 there. That's fine. Let's break that. We can always reassemble the metal press. But not like that. Like that. Oh, and of course, idiot here went and put the immersive engineering hammer away. So I'm also conscious that I did replant the trying to crossbreed the thing, so we're going to swing around there. But that is pretty much where we're more or less going to end off at this point. I'm just going to finish these off. We'll get the anvil made. But we've hit blue steel age, and that's a huge thing. Especially if we've with this thing in our lives, because you know that is an incredibly powerful tool. So let us finish off by placing down a blue steel anvil. We shall get a screenshot. Obviously this is not going to stay here. This is going to go on our back and going to go through there, but that metal press I think is going to make massive amount of difference for us. I'm going to have to double check. Another thing, of course, is we can melt this down to make a shiny new anvil metal press. Sorry, block things of black steel. We'll just pop it there for now. But we're in the blue steel age. I did want to check the other thing very quickly at immersive. Now, I know in the current versions of immersive the conveyor belt has an extraction belt, but I don't think that existed in this version, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get things onto that belt. I suppose a dropper might work. Did we even have droppers in this version? We do have droppers. Okay, there we go. So we could go with a dropper and try just using that, or item drop. I'm not going there. Use a hopper. Hopper with a dropper, no. There's going to be ways and means. But we have blue steel. We have a thing that we can obviously make things out of blue steel. And if we actually look at blue steel, there's a question here I wanted to know. So we can make all of the Tinker's Construct stuff out of blue steel. How does it compare? If I can even find a blue steel. I mean, look at a blue steel sword, does 157 hearts. So that's up there. I presume it's going to be quite hefty. I can't see a pickaxe head in that lot. Either I'm blind. I mean, there's a blue steel pickaxe head. Well, pickaxe actually, but I can't actually see. Am I got? Oh, it's there. There we go. Blue steel pick. That's a normal pick. So oh, there it is. There you go. I'm not sure whether you're better with the Tinkers or not, to be honest. Oh well, look, we have some blue steel. We're in a position. We've still got a whole load of metal left. On that note, I think we'll call this one an episode. You know, we've got blue steel. We have a metal press. We just need to work out how to rejig this a little bit. I'm also conscious of this thing, what kind of range it's got. So if I throw that down there, for example. So we could reassemble this over here. That wouldn't be a major issue. But for the time being, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.